Today we're going to talk about surrealist artists you may not have ever heard of. Hi, my name is Jalen and this is Art in Color, a channel where I talk about contemporary artists of color. Today we are going to talk about surrealism. Surrealism can be defined as a 20th century literary, philosophical, and artistic movement that explored the workings of the mind, championed the irrational, the poetic, and the revolutionary. So maybe a more simplified way of saying that was that surrealists were interested in the unconscious mind, the things that you're not deliberately thinking about, but that your brain is sort of just floating around back there. If you're familiar with the movement, that when I say surrealism, you probably think of artists like Max Ernst or Salvador Dali or Magritte. But we are moving past the basics and we are looking a little bit deeper, and we're going to learn about a couple of artists that were definitely part of the surrealist movement, but maybe did not get as much attention as the main artists. So the first artist I'm going to talk about is Octavio Ocampo. Octavio Ocampo was born in 1943 in Guanajuato, Mexico, and was a surrealist painter. He grew up in a family of designers and studied art from his early childhood. In high school, Ocampo painted murals for the preparatory school and the City Hall of Celaya. Ocampo is known for his sometimes comedic, large-scale paintings in which detailed images are intricately woven together to create larger images. This is what Octavio Ocampo terms his metamorphic style. The next artist is Remedios Varo. A World War II expatriate, Remedios Varo was one of the few acknowledged female surrealist painters of the first half of the 20th century. In Varos' work, she often explores the restriction and oppression she felt through the presence of a cage or a tower, often figuring women within these domestic and isolated prisons. Heavily influenced by her strict Catholic schooling, as well as an early introduction to her father's engineering, Varo's curious allegorical images merge religious iconography with the exacting nature of scientific renderings. Following her death in 1963, Varo's work has since become legendary in Mexico. After her 1971 retrospective at the Museum of Modern Art in Mexico City drew the largest audience in the museum's history, beating out the likes of Diego Rivera and Jose Clemente Orozco. Though her work is little known outside of Mexico, Varo has been called one of the most individual and extraordinary painters of Mexican art. The next artist I'd like to talk about is Kati Horna. Also an expatriate of World War II, Kati Horna was one of the only women to document the front lines of the Spanish Civil War. As a photographer, her work brought a singular voice, one that showed all that happened on the peripheries of war with a sense of humor and surrealist sensibility. An extremely accomplished surrealist photographer, she was critical in the invention of the solarization technique, which gave photos a silvery aura by partially reversing black and white exposures. Horna made Mexico her adoptive home and continued to live and work in Mexico City with her husband, Jose, until her death in the year 2000. The last artist I would love to highlight is Rosa Rolanda. Rosa Rolanda was born in 1895 in Azusa, California, but later became a celebrated dancer and performer in New York City, and also as a painter and photographer in Mexico City. Rolanda was a leading creative figure in Mexico in the 1930s through the 60s, who is said to have begun painting sometime around 1926. The majority of Rolanda's canvases depict colorful, folkloric scenes of children and festivals, as well as portraits of friends and self-portraits. Rolanda was adept at the photogram technique, in which photographic prints are made by placing objects on photosensitive paper and exposing the arrangement to light without the use of a camera. Thank you so much for spending some time with me to learn about surrealist artists you may not have heard of. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me a lot. And also subscribe, because then you'll know when I post a new video. I'll also provide some links down below about these artists so you can learn even more. The question of the day is, who is your favorite surrealist artist? Please leave your comments below and I'll sift through them and heart them and reply and things like that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, goodbye!